Hey everyone, welcome back to Martial Arts History. The martial art for today is Pencak Silat. I've trained a lot of Silat under the progressive style of which my dad taught, but I never really got into Pencak Silat too much until I actually worked with a master named Cecep, who was in the Raid 2. He was against Iko, doing a cool fight scene in the kitchen with the knives. Really awesome fight scene. I got to fight Cecep in a short film called The Gate, and during that project I actually learned some Pencak Silat and learned more about the history of it, and I absolutely love it. I think it's a beautiful art, so I'm so excited to share some information about Pencak Silat today. It's a form of martial arts that originated in Indonesia. It's known to be a competitive form of Silat. It's a type of full body fighting that includes a lot of different striking techniques, grappling, and the use of many weapons. Every part of your body is used while striking or in defense. It's something I really like about the art is that it's so creative in the defensive moves and the striking moves. You are moving in a way that feels very natural, and it might feel weird in the beginning, but once you do it, it feels very natural, in my opinion. So I love the fact that you're using these very natural movements and using all of your body to defend and attack. So according to a different myth in regards to the origin of Pencak Silat, the evidence of when it really began to become an art was in the 6th century. Originally, it was developed by tribal groups who actually observed animals in nature, defending themselves against other animals. Eventually, it became very influential in achieving social status, meaning that there were fights between clans, tribal groups, communities, and later on kingdoms. In between the 7th and the 14th century, 2 kingdoms of Sumatra and Srivijaya, and between the 13th to the 16th century, Majapahit in Java had contributed to the development of Pencak Silat by making good use of its fighting skills, and then were successful in extending the rules in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. This martial art, Pencak Silat, is associated with a lot of religious concepts, local legends, religions, philosophies, and customary law systems. It also has a very deep spiritual and mental aspect to develop oneself. Its art and cultural aspects are a huge part in describing the martial art in terms of music, the dances, and the beautiful dresses. And it's also been a huge form of character building. So there are 4 major aspects in this martial art. The first one is the spiritual aspect, having faith. Second is self-defense, having the ability to know how to protect yourself and also stay in peak physical shape and understanding so you can do so. The third is the art aspect, which is being able to perform your martial art. And fourth is the sports aspect, which is to have a competitive mindset and desire to live a healthy life and keep moving forward. So these aspects also bring so many amazing things to the practitioners, such as moral values, discipline, honesty, and responsibilities. In Indonesia, Silat is considered to be a cultural heritage and is practiced with the mindset of being able to adjust and adapt to your situation and environment, which I absolutely love because there are a lot of martial arts and movements that you can learn, and you might be able to do it when you're all set and prepared in the right environment and happy tunes are going on and everything, but to be able to adapt in any situation is one of the most important skills. So Dan Inosanto, he's well known for Silat, so I have to throw him in there, of course. He's an absolute legend in the world of martial arts. The Pencak Silat practitioners that are more well known today would be the actors and martial artists in films like The Raid, such as Iko Uwais, Cecep Arif Rahman, who, like I said, I worked with, and he was incredible. If you haven't watched The Gate short film, please do so. It's a really good short film. I'm not being biased, I just think it's a really, really good action drama piece. And then there's Yayan Ruhian and many others who not only practice the art, but are becoming well known for being action stars or being Penchak Silat Masters. So Penchak is the performance aspect of Silat. Silat is the spirit, self-defense, and fighting techniques. So together it creates Penchak Silat. More recently, Penchak Silat has actually been taught in schools as extracurricular activities in Indonesia, which I love. It's also included in national, local, and international events like Indonesia Sports Week and SEA Games. In 2002, Silat was introduced at the Asian Games in Korea. The influence of Penchak Silat and Silat in general can be seen in so many different martial arts films in general, shows. It's all over the place. And in my opinion, some of the most notable films that had some cool Penchak Silat in it would be Merantau, which is a really awesome action film, The Raid 2. These films and this way of fighting is becoming much more popular, and I think the US is finally starting to understand how cool it can be. And, you know, I think The Raid really brought Penchak Silat to American viewers. And, you know, more and more shows and directors and producers are trying to capture that style because it just looks awesome and it looks real, you know? So love this style. It's amazing. It's in so many different films, but those are definitely a few of the top Penchak Silat films. Overall, there's no standard set of moves in Penchak Silat. Each style has its own specific movements and techniques. That's because, you know, several different masters interpreted it in their own way and put their style on that, and, you know, now we have several different techniques and different styles and variations of those techniques, which I think is awesome. I mean, I love that aspect of martial arts. I don't think anything can ever truly remain the same. I think things are there to evolve and adapt and become better. It's so important to add your own style to any martial art that you do and find what works best for you. Strict rules don't always work the best, in my opinion, because everybody's body is different, we all move differently, so find what is right for you and adapt and change, and just like Penchak Silat, try to be as adaptable as possible. And in my opinion, that just comes from being aware in general and practicing as much as possible. So the techniques differ because of the different masters who interpreted it in their own way per their preferences, their socio-culture context, and the physical environment that surrounded them. So even the basic attacking techniques may differ depending on lineage, style, and regional origin. Some of the most popular techniques are obviously punches and kicks. There are a lot of takedowns, sweeps, they use elbows a lot of locks and joint manipulation, and overall using their whole body as a weapon. Like I said before, that is one of the coolest things about Penchak Silat, is that, you know, because they studied these animals in the past and it was kind of developed by watching how these animals naturally move and defend themselves, they then figured out what felt best for them based off of what those animals were doing. So a lot of the movements feel very natural and very powerful. Penchak Silat is one of my new favorite martial arts because it's so addictive. It just feels so good to practice. I highly recommend it. If you haven't studied any Silat in general, I would absolutely do that. Really great techniques, wonderful workouts, and you know, if you ever want to work in film, I would definitely start studying Silat and even Penchak Silat because it's just an awesome art. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, if you haven't watched the Gate short film with Chechep, where we use some Penchak Silat, go ahead and do that. It's a really fun short film. I'll leave the link for you down below. Of course, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, hit the notification bell. If you want to subscribe to my email list, I will have a link for you down below. And leave your comments down below. You know I love hearing from you. And of course, if you have any additional information on Penchak Silat, let's get it out there. Let's put it out there so we can all learn from each other. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.